So, if you don't know Ruby, we're kind of fast forwarding into, I don't know, somewhere like in the middle of learning syntax. What did we learn before this? Let's go. Yeah, this is a learning exercise. So if we pretend that we're doing this like what should we have learned already? Hello world, um, basics of Ruby. Okay, nil, instance variables, booleans, strings, numbers, floating point numbers, symbols, ranges, and now we're like in cases. So we're like it's like still learning how the language even works. So hopefully this isn't too hard and I don't like this would be really embarrassing actually if I can't do this. I would be embarrassed. So let's read the instructions here. So a case, often referred to as a switch in other languages, is a form of control expression like if else. Case allows for chaining of multiple if else statements and can be more readable while providing flow control. Somebody's texting me. Hold on. Distracting. Oh. Oh, I did that on purpose so that you have to so you can't just okay, I was just made aware that you can't chat unless you've been watching for 10 minutes. And I did that because I'm scared of someone just coming into the chat and being like, "You're dumb. I hate your guts." So you have to like be willing to watch me for 10 minutes so that you don't just come in and be mean. I can turn that off because if there's actually people wanting to, then they're like, "Yeah, idiot." Like, let me chat with you. Oh God. Now I don't know how to fix that. Where do I fix that? Oh dear. Uh, it's probably in stream. Nope, it's probably in stream settings. Here, you can all watch me do this. I'm so scared. Oh, moderation, I bet. Yep, yep. Where is it? Email. You got to be email. You gotta have like a real account. Like that makes sense, right? Um. Oh, here it is. Follower only mode. 10 minutes. This is the most used. When enabled, viewers must follow you. Oh, they must follow you before you're allowed to post. So wow, you gotta really be committed. You gotta watch me for 10 minutes and then also follow. So you gotta earn your right to chat. I guess that's fair, right? That's probably fair. If you want to chat, because you could be who knows? I don't know. You could be yeah, I don't know. Anyway, well we'll see. I'll just leave it for now. We'll just let it go. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, I totally forgot about. There's like a million settings that you have to make decisions on before you even know what you're doing, which seems kind of crazy. So I just left everything at like the most secure and default to yeah, just because I have no idea what I'm doing. So let us continue. Flow control. A case is defined by the keyword case, followed by an optional expression. Then for each case, the keyword when is used, followed by an expression. Okay, so we're learning cases. If you don't know case, okay, this is like just looking at it. If you want to read the definition, you can. This is what it is, right? So you have case, you put some expression there to basically switch. That's why it's called a switch. Switch upon, and each when kind of logs you in to that or makes you fall into that block of code, right? So when one, do one, when two, do two, which is the same as this. It's just a little cleaner because you don't have to have this on every block, right? So it's a little syntactical sugar for if else's. Yay. Something, yeah, this is important, I think. The case expression is evaluated, it's compared using triple equals. That's kind of different in Ruby. We don't usually triple equal stuff. We usually double equals because this actually, yeah, it's a bit different. Look, it tells you, oh man, so cool. So this is part of that learning path. So it is actually explaining the syntax and explaining stuff as we go. Not all of the languages have that. So this is one of those special, or not all the exorcisms, not exercises. Not all of the exercises have this deep of explanation. Sometimes it's just solve the problem. But this one actually checks range would check if the right side in the range is in the range or a object would check if the right side is an instance of the object. So, oh yeah, so this is interesting. So string double equals foo is false. No, the class string does not equal the string false. But if we triple equals it, we're actually checking against the objectness of it. Honestly, I can't even count the time. I can't even count on one hand the times I've used triple equals in Ruby. It's just not something we use. I've been doing Ruby for a long time. Case with multiple expressions. This is cool. So if you've got multiple things that have the same value or have the same return, you can just comma separate them. Super lovely. What else we got? Ranges. Oh, even easier. So if you've got 1, 2, if you had 10, you don't have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can just do 1 ... 10, and then you get all from 1 to 10 in one block. Super neat. What else can we do? Oh, weird. I've never done this way either. Man. So you do case with no expression, then you just are doing the same thing that is basically an if else, right? It's the same thing. So cool that Ruby supports it. Not super useful though. Then, oh man. So this is where it gets real fun. Then if you've got a really, short returns, you can just do when something, then boom, smash it all together. Oh, beautiful. What else we got? Oh, you can use types. So if var was a type, so you can, you don't actually have to specifically type var.class or var.something. You can just compare by class. So that's kind of neat. And now, now the lesson part is done. So in these learning paths, you get that little bit of tutorial, that little bit of teaching at the top, and then they actually go to the instruction. So here's the actual game. Here's the exercise. In this exercise, we will simulate the first turn of a blackjack game. Oh, fun. So task 1, calculate the value of a given card. You will be given 2 cards and will be able to see the face-up card of the dealer, right? How blackjack works. All cards are represented using a string such as ace, king, 3, 2, etc., and the values of each card. So we've got all of our definitions. And then they even tell us, because I know you're going to ask, well, aces can be low. Here they go. So aces can be 1 or 11, but we're just going to leave them at 11. So we don't have to worry about that case, because I think, right, if you bust, right, so at first it's worth 11, but then if you get over 21, then it becomes a 1, and then you can keep adding. So we don't have to solve that. That's bonus points. Maybe you could do it later. So what's the example? The example is parse a card. We get the string ace. It should be 11. And that's what we do. So these, how to debug. Oh, you can type a debugger in here, and then you can just print, it's like puts. You could just do a string, and then we've got our string interpolation there. So let us start at parse card. Oh, let's run the test. So let's go back. Oh, I already did. So the result, first thing, please implement parse card. And you can see they already gave us the API. So this one is one of those easy mode ones where they already gave us all the classes we need. Some of them just show up like this. Like you just get like, welcome, which is more scary because you're like, oh man, like what do I even do? And that's where you just would look at this test and go, okay, well, we've got a blackjack class that has a parse card method. Okay, and it takes one argument. That is a string. So you're supposed to be able to figure it out, based on the test, what it's doing. Oh, hey, a third person is now allowed. It says 3 viewers now. So I don't know how you can be in chat and not a viewer. I don't know how that actually works, but apparently it can. But yeah, so I don't know who the third person is. Hello, third person. I can start. Should I start over? I've been talking for like 10 minutes explaining this whole thing. That's the hard part about like coming into the middle of somebody's project. That's why I didn't want to start with like, here's a thing I'm working on, and then let me give you 3 hours of what I've been doing and where I'm stuck. I was hoping that like we could just start on an easy thing. You could figure out what I'm doing, really quickly, hopefully. So here's parse card. We need to implement it. We're raising the error. Yeah, so if we delete this, right? Delete. And we return nothing. Don't say, oh man, that's going to get me. You know, you just habitually Command S whenever you're done coding something. Okay, so now we get a real error. So right, instead of just raising, we actually get, we expected 11 from ace and we got a nil. So now it's kind of like, you know, draw the rest of the owl because like, right, oh, we don't need to explicit. Oh, I'm going to do that. So, okay, I'm so sorry. I'm going to do that a lot. You know, we could return 11. That's the dumbest thing we could do, right? To get a test to pass. Ooh, we did it. This works for aces perfectly. Works for nothing else. But now, right, we can't just do that. Now it needs to work for 2. And if we totally ignore that bit of it, you know, the instructions were meant to kind of give you a hint about what structure, what new thing you're learning about, what you should use to handle this new situation. So we could totally ignore it, right? And be like, if ace 11, else what do we, oh, don't help me that much. Else, 2, yeah, we could do that and then run the test again. Now we get 2 tests to pass. Oh, you silly little goose. I was thinking we were in a switch. See that? I was already thinking we were in a switch. So, oh yeah, now we get 2. And then we can go down the same path, right? And keep adding if else's. But the whole point of this exercise is to use a case. So let's use a case. We should probably use a case. So the case is a card. And we can say win stuff. What do you think it probably is? It's probably win ace. Do something. We got to end. Stop trying to help me so much. Do we like indented wins? Do they like indented wins? I don't think they do. No, they don't. They like them. They like them straight up. All right. So then we have a default as well. Or is it an else? Every other language uses default. Thanks, Ruby. So let's default. If we don't know what the card is, if you're being nice, you'd probably raise an error, right? You'd be like, card not recognized. Noised. That's what you'd probably do if you're being nice. If you just return, you know, nil or something, now you're just going to let nil kind of scatter throughout the rest of the code. So I think you know, a better API would be to raise an error here. That way we fail really fast and we know what's exactly wrong. We expected 11. We got nil. Well, we fell into the ace case, but we didn't tell it what to do with it. So now we, mother and father. Oh boy. Yikes. Hey, look, we got our runtime error. Card not recognized. Woohoo. So let's, I mean, there's no easy way to do this besides just doing it all by hand. So let's look back at our instructions. Let's see what our values are. And now we just have to do the boring thing of typing it 10 times, right? So we can, 1, 2, well, there's some that equal the same thing. So we'll get to use that lovely little trick. So let's start, we'll start at the top. 11. And so what are the things that are worth, they want it to return 0. Okay, so this is actually wrong. They want a non-card to be worth 0, I guess. So that's fine. Now we need to like undo. Okay, so win ace, we got 11. What are the cases where we get 10? Oops. 10, jack, don't do that. Helping me with the extra quotes, queen and king, kind. 10, jack, queen, king. We just solve all those with 1. Boop. And then the rest, 9, noise. 8, 7. You're just going to watch me do this. You know what's coming. You should follow along because then it won't be so boring. 3, 2, 1. Well, 1 is ace, so we actually don't need that. 3, 2. Trace, dose. So we got 4, 5. Oh my god. 6, 9. Okay. Dude, we only got to use the shortcut one time. That's not very cool. Holy cow, we went from 1 to 14. And we got the unknown card. So we would have failed on the unknown card test had we done anything else besides this, right? And raising the error, right? That was exploding card not found. If we do that, we'll fail. Just to prove it, parse the unknown card, hit runtime errors, and then obviously, if we return nil here, what would we get? Expected 0 got no. Okay, so that's expected. Okay. Moving on. So that's done. Card range. Oh, yeah. Parse card is done. I don't know how to. You can't collapse. I wish you could collapse methods. We just get to stare at it. So what does card range do? So let's go back to the instructions. We know we did task 1. Can I minimize? Oh, awesome. Now we need to name range values. What does this mean? So the player score has to be categorized into ranges of values. Player scores are computed by adding up the values of their 2 cards and then the ranges that are used. So you get a low, a mid, a high, or blackjack. Oh, so you want to do something, right? If you've got high, you maybe don't want to hit, or right, the mid, you maybe want to hit, and then low for sure. So we need to implement the range, which takes 2 cards, and it should return the name of the range that the value falls into, that the values of the 2 cards fall into. So I'm guessing we sum them. So we're going to get the 2 cards, we're going to convert them to numbers, add them together, and then figure out what range that is. Ooh. So here's, I think, where we get to use more of this guy, right? The win. We get to use a win with a range. Oh, man. That'll be nice. Okay, so let's case. Oh, we got to figure out what the cards are first, right? So we want score, maybe? Let's try score. So score. Hello. A new person in chat. Oh, man. It is kind of annoying that I can see the names, but because you haven't been in here for 10 minutes, you're just like this little silent observer. So hello. We're doing exercises in Ruby. I don't know if it's convention to welcome every single guest into a stream, but when it's only 3 streams big, or 2, because I'm one of them, I think you do. You're like, hey, man, thanks. How'd you get here? I would love to know in 10 minutes. Can you please tell me when you can chat in 10 minutes? How you got here, what you searched. Is it someone I know already? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Okay. Let's do card range. Score. So we need to score both the cards. Should we be explicit and get each value separately and then add them up just so we can, let's be readable. Let's do, if I was doing this, to be the most readable, card 1, parse card, let's call it score value totals. Let's say score, and that equals parse card. So if you don't know this, the way Ruby works, these are all class methods defined on this module level class methods defined on this Blackjack module, which means we don't have to, there's an implicit self dot to send the message to myself. In Ruby, you don't have to do that. So you can just say parse card and it will know, oh yeah, Blackjack knows what that is. So we can just call parse card since we don't have an instance of the Blackjack module. It doesn't need that. We can just call, we don't need this self dot. Anywho, so we're going to parse the card with card 1. And then let's get, I should have done this. Does Command D work in Oh, it does. Sick. Okay, that's neat. Okay, so now we got the card 2 score. We're parsing the card of card 2, parsing the score. That should be called, yeah, whatever. And then we'll call this total score equals card 1. Help me out. Help. Nope. Okay. You want to help me so much more. Caller. That's what I want. I don't want card 2. I want caller. That's fun. So now we have the total. So now we can case on the total score. Learn how to type. When it's something, how many do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. When. And then we could probably just else. So all of those are going to be ranges. So the else is probably going to be our blackjack case. And this returns a string. Blackjack. Okay. Is that what happens? Yeah, we get a string high. So what do these look like? It's as easy as like how it's defined. So all we have to do, I don't even think do we need parens? I think we need parens. Oh man, I already forgot. I think we need to do that. I think for a range, we need parens. So we want 12. Ooh, this is interesting. What's the difference between that and that? We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. 17 to 20, right? 20, yep, okay. So this, we do a low. So this one's not as, I think if we actually had to play, maybe first turn is going to be a little bit more of a challenge, but I mean, like we said, we're 6 exercises into, this learning module. So I hope it wouldn't be too hard, or else someone would get very deterred from moving on if like challenge number 6 was a hard one. I should have probably not just solved the whole thing, but let's see. Should we just see first try? Let's see first try if it's mad at us. Oh, look at first turn is next. That means we passed all of the other ones. Oh, dang. So what were we checking? We were checking that low, if you got a score of 4, if you got mid low range. Okay. Oh, so 3 and 4 is a 7. Oh yeah, you should get and the upper bound is 4 and 7, which is 11. Yep. Okay, so what do you think this means? This means 11 inclusive, right? If you want to exclude 11, we can add another dot, and now it's just going to be from 4 to 10. So we should see test 17 fail if we run them again. There we go. Boom. So there was no case, right? When this actually gets generated, when this gets parsed, this actually becomes like an array of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? It does all these. Right now we have this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we only do 2 dots, that tells Ruby, okay, we actually want that one, right? So we solved. We didn't have to write all of those. Oh man, so nice. Oh, hit save again. Gonna keep doing it. I told you. Okay. First turn. Okay, so this is where we get our 2 cards face up and we know the dealer card. And now we have to decide what we should do, probably. Let's go back to the instructions. So we did that. Implement the decision logic for the first turn. Okay. What are we doing? So depending on your 2 cards and the card of the dealer, there is a strategy for the first turn of the game in which you have the following options. You can S, stand, hit. Oh, we're gonna split even, or automatically win. So let's see, and then they're gonna tell us when all this happens. Oh, although not optimal yet, you will follow the strategy your friend Alex has been developing. Pair of aces, you always split. If you got a blackjack, and the dealer does not have an ace, a figure, or a 10, then you automatically win. Excuse me. If the dealer does have any of those cards, then you'll stand and wait. Okay, so we're going to check, do we have 21 and the dealer doesn't have an ace or something that was worth 10, which I think is pretty easy. We have all those checked right there. So we just need to check the value is 10. If our sum is in the range 17 to 20, ooh, what's that? Do we know it? Oh, could that be a range that we can get a specific string back for that we could check? Ooh, maybe. You should always stand. And if the sum is the value between 12 and 16, what should we do? You should always stand unless the dealer has a 7 or a higher, in which case you should always hit. Okay, we're going to have to do these one by one. If you don't remember this all in your head, like right now, like too much information, too much. We got to go one at a time. Hopefully there's a spec for each case. There should be. So we'll solve them one at a time. Instead, like I've been doing this like one shot. Normally we don't do that. We just do one at a time. Since it was like kind of all the same, so like the solution was the same for each case, it kind of made sense just to keep going. But normally I would solve one case, and run the tests, get that test passing, do the next test. We've been doing like 15 tests at a time, so that's not the normal way I do these. But my watch just told me it's time to stand. I'm already standing. Guess it's not super smart. So if your cards sum up to 11, here's the last one. You should always hit. So I bet we can make a case for when our card range is a certain thing to do something, right? So that's where maybe except for the first case where we have a pair of aces, then we'll just do something special. Okay. So we would expect, it doesn't say, it says P split. Oh, so these must be, the first two are our cards, ace, ace, and then this is the dealer card, I'm guessing. So when we get ace, ace, we split, we P. We P. So let's go back to the tests. Oh, the first one is ace, ace, ace. So what is it expecting? So what I like to do is first just delete the raise and just see what the first test wants me to do. What should we get? How should this work? We should get a P because we got ace, ace. Oh yeah, this is the case where if you have a pair of aces, split them. So this will probably be maybe a short circuit at the beginning of this thing where it doesn't fall into those other ones. Because there's clearly here, right? There's clearly this checking. Blackjack, that's one of our returns for card range. There's a high, there's a mid, and the low. So those will fall perfectly into one of the win blocks of a case. But this first one, pair of aces, if we pass that to total score, we're just going to get blackjack. So we need to, that one's special. Was there a certain instruction on that? Oh, yeah. We could do the cool. I didn't even do the cool thing for any of these. Oh, what a waste. I wish you could talk to me, anyone who's watching, because you should have told me. I blame you. Because we can do the beautiful, right? We can refactor this. I'm refactoring before I'm even, well, these are green. It's fair. We could do it. Else then, is that how that works? I don't think it is. I think it's just else. Yeah. Shows how much I use the single line case syntax. Let's make sure those tests are still passing. Oh, mwah. Okay, and oh man, look what we get to do here. Is this might be less readable for some of these. Man, can I? Yeah. Let's. Oh, beautiful. All of them still pass. I don't. You know what? Kind of with this style, I kind of don't prefer, don't like having the multiple cases. I would rather see them all individually because then I don't know, it just reads nicer. This one weird one is like, are you special for some reason? It's not special. It's just they happen to be equal right now. That could change, right? I don't know. What if we have a different game where Jack is magical and doesn't equal 10? Then we got to split it out anyway. So I would actually, let's see if this looks any better. So I would do win. Move. Will you cut it out, keyboard? I blame the keyboard. It's not me. Queenie. Like, doesn't that look nicer? I don't know. Even though these all say 10, the fact that they are now they all look the same to me is like, ooh, like none of these are special. They all are the same type of thing. That one extra line to me just like you know, when you squint, you're like, oh, that one's, is that a weird case? What is that? It's just happened to be equal. So I like this with this single line version. I like it even better. And the best part, the test still pass. Yeah. Okay. What's next? First turn. So oh yeah, well there it goes. We were I was kind of guessing, remember? Now we know. This is maybe an old, this might have been this exercise. It was new in my you know, exercise list, but maybe it's an old style. In Ruby now, even though they're not required, I would use keyword arguments for this so that you know which one is the dealer card when you use it, right? Because if when you look here, you can't really tell. Where was it? At the bottom? Yeah. When you look here, if you're reading code that had this in it, it is very unclear from the API, the user, you know, using this first turn. If I'm like, hey, here's this cool Blackjack class I wrote. It's got a first turn method. It's super awesome. And then you go to use it and you're like, well, which one's which? Is the dealer first? I feel like does the dealer go first? If we're going by dealing order, doesn't the dealer do like one to you, one to me, one to you? Like, is that like, so because they're not named, because you don't know which card is which card is which, you would have to go look every time, or like, right, there's nothing here that tells you which card is which. So I wouldn't do it like that. I would actually add, so you'd have to say card 1 ace, card 2 ace, dealer card 2, right? That reads a little better. So, but I can't change that. I can't change the tests. If you actually download this into the like CLI, I think there's a CLI version still, because I think it downloads all the files. I haven't used it in a long time just because this is so easy. I'm pretty sure you could change the tests if you wanted to, like, you know, improve it in your own way if you want to make it a little better yourself. So where are we at? We're at the first turn with 2 aces. So we're solving that first case of always split. So card 1 is going to be an ace. We don't even need to get the value out of it, right? Because that actually wouldn't help us. We actually need to say if, so in Ruby, I would use a trailing conditional for this. So I'd say return P if card 1 equals ace and card 2 equals ace. Otherwise, return nil. So let's see where we get with that. Did we get one? Hey, look, first turn, pair of aces. We got a P. So that one works. Great. Next, on the first turn with 2 jacks, we should expect an S. What is S again? I gotta look. You know what I should do? I should write these down. Can I command? Oh, beautiful. I love that. Whoa. Okay, doesn't want to D tab for some reason. I do love that it is mostly like a pretty well featured editor right here. Like I have Command D, you know, multiple cursors. I have, you know, it's pretty nice. Okay, so here's the rules. I mean, we could even write the rules down. I mean, we see them here. So Jack and Jack, we're expecting 2 cards up S stand. So we're solving this range here, right? So if your card sums to the high range, always stand. That's what we want to do. So I think now instead of doing, right, I'm going to do another case. What is the case on? Ooh, interesting. We could do a case on the card range. We could probably do that even in line if we wanted to. If we wanted to be gross, you could do that. You could store it, but I think we can just do that. So let's see. So when it's high, these are all going to be one-liners. So we can say then return S, and then we'll say else, and what are we elseing? We'll else nil. Or is there a case? Oh, 11 or lower. So that's going to be our low. So we're going to always hit. Sure. That's going to solve an extra test that we didn't mean to do yet, but we'll be okay with it. That's fine. So holy cow! So we accidentally solved way more than we probably should have just by checking high. I think there was it looks like there was a bunch of tests. Holy cow! Okay, first turn has so many tests. So pair of jacks was an S, pair of queens was an S, pair of twos was a hit. Okay, so we got those in the low. Pair of fives is a hit because of, that's interesting. How did that happen? Oh, it's low. Fives is low. Okay, weird. I don't know why my brain wasn't working. And then blackjack with a queen for the dealer. Okay, this one just happened to work. I don't think this is not a real. How did we even get there? Jack and a king. First turn blackjack. A jack and a king is not blackjack, right? That's just 20. Hold the phone. Do I not know how blackjack works? 2 cards that sum up to 21. You've got to get an ace, bud. Interesting. Okay. I don't think that test is right. I'm going to keep going. We don't have any of the conditionals for the other cases yet, because I think when you're high, there was no other way. It's just always stand, right? These other two have conditionals, so we won't be able to use the like shorthand then, or you shouldn't probably. And maybe that's a good case for like always if not all, what is it? Unless all of your cases can use it, then maybe don't, because then it's weird because you've got like one that has a then and one that doesn't. So I would do it like this. Okay. We know that we need to solve for these. We just don't know what it is yet, right? When high, when mid, the else is our low. We also need to win blackjack, actually. Let's do them all. Blackjack. We just don't know what's going to happen yet. And I think if we leave them empty, it's just going to be nil. So those will still fail. It'll still work. It's still valid syntax. It just returns nil. That is strange that it got through to high. Maybe once we fix it, it'll go away. We'll move on and see what happens. First turn, ace for the dealer. Ooh, so you get a blackjack, but the dealer has an ace. Remember, there was a trick in there. So if you have a blackjack and the dealer doesn't have an ace or a 10, so he's got to have a score. His first card has got to be less than 10. We automatically win. Okay. So we have blackjack. We already knew that. We scored our cards. We need to score the dealer's card. And we need to check if the score is less than ace or any of the face cards or 10. So we just need to check that the value is less than 10. Since this is the only one, there is one that has the dealer as a 7. Okay. I was debating whether we should score the dealer's card outside of the case and just always have it. But if we do that, it'll save us like one time because we need it in the mid too, right? So if we're in the mid, we should always stand unless the dealer has a 7. So we could save ourselves, 2 cases where we have to score the dealer's card if we do it twice. If it's since we know it's pretty cheap to do, it's definitely fine to just keep it. So if we say dealer score, we'll do the optimization after. So we'll do it we'll do it the naive way, and then we'll do the the optimized performant way later. So the dealer score is just parse card of the dealer card. And so we need dealer score. Okay, so now we'll just do a normal if, I think. If the dealer score is less than 10, do something else. Do something else. Stop helping me. So if we're in blackjack and the dealer does not have an ace, a figure, or a 10, then you win. Oh, cool. So if the dealer score is less than 10, we automatically win. Auto win, right? Yes. I don't know why I thought it'd be A. Otherwise, what do we have to do? If the dealer does have any, then we got to stand. Okay, so then we got to wait. We don't know. So we're going to stand. Okay, does that solve? That should solve test 30 at least. Let's see. So we had 38 passing. Big money. Ooh, 41. Okay. So we have... Okay, for some reason those still work. First turn blackjack with ace for dealer. Somehow that works again. I don't know. I don't know what I did. Those work now, so yay. So blackjack works with dealer stuff, and then 10. First turn 10 or 2 dealers. I think those maybe incidentally work because we haven't done the low with dealer stuff yet. So let's go back. Oh, we need a condition in the low. That's interesting. So blackjack needs an if. The high, is this high? 17 to 20 is high. You just stand. Easy. What is mid? 16 to 12. Yeah, no, low is always hit. I don't know why I thought that. So mid, we should always stand unless the dealer has a 7 or higher, in which case you should always hit. So we're going to do this same check, bonk, but instead of less than 10, it's a 7 or higher. You should always stand, otherwise hit. Same thing. Ooh, that's interesting. Those look really similar, but the ideas are the reason they're similar is really different, but that's kind of hard to not notice, right? Dealer score less than something else, always stand. Oh man. If there were more cases, I'd probably want to do that even more, figure out how to reduce that or make it a little bit cleaner. It's so confusing for me to see. Hello, other people. If you see, there's 4 viewers now, but there's 8 or 10 people in the chat. So I don't know how you can be in the chat and not viewing. I don't know how that works. But yeah, we're working on Ruby exorcisms. We're making a blackjack game, or we're solving for the first turn of a blackjack game. And I think, let's run the test. I think we're pretty darn close. How far have we gotten? Okay. First turn, score of 16 with a 6 for the dealer. Okay, so where does that fall in? Score of 16, we're mid. That's here. And if the dealer got a 6, his value should have been 6. We should have hit. Did I do those backwards? I might have done those backwards. Okay, let's see. You should always stand unless the dealer has a 7 or higher. in which case you should always hit. That's what this means. 7 or higher, you should stand. Because this is going to be less than 7, we should hit. Am I thinking about that? Am I crazy? What's going on here? This is probably where we need to add a debug because we might be getting into the wrong case. What's going on here? So we switched them around. So let's see if we're getting into mid. So we're going to debug, and we're going to say, did I get here? And then might as well add some values, right? What was the dealer score? What was... I mean, we know what our card range is because we're in the mid. That's kind of all we need, I think. Let's see what we got. And then, so we want to check on test 38. What's going on here? What did we do? What did we do wrong? We did something bad. Sorry, totally distracted by seeing who's around, if people are actually watching or not. Did I get here? The dealer score was, it translated right. I mean, thank God. If that was wrong, then this whole thing's wrong. So we got a 6. So if the dealer score is 6, that means we should hit because he's got a low score. Is this test wrong? I think this test is wrong. Right? I think that's backwards. According to the instructions, you should always stand. If your cards are mid, you should always stand. Unless the dealer's got a 7. So you're looking at the dealer's card and you're like, oh man, he's got a 7. He could have something sneaky in there, right? Because if he's got a 10 in his pocket, he wins. So, the comma, the flippin' comma. I'm reading that totally wrong. Unless the dealer has a 7 or higher, you should always hit. Oh my gosh. Because of, man, me saying it out loud made me realize if he does have that pocket 10, he's going to win. So you have to hit. That's what it is. So if he's got less than a 7, then you're like, okay, good, I'm safe. I got 16, I'm good. He can't win. But if he's got greater than 7, you're being forced. Now they don't look the same at all. And that helps me be more okay with them looking the same. You could put them back if the point was to try to make them look the same. Then we could use greater than or equals and put it back. If we wanted the S's to be on the bottom always for some reason. Now let's run. Holy cannoli, we did it. Let's clean up the comment. I don't need that anymore. Oh, now it's going to make me run the tests again. So let's submit. We'll submit this one and say, yay, did it. Whoa, it takes 10 seconds. Oh, do we have feedback? Oh, yikes. Oh, that would be scary. Oh, no immediate improvements. Thank goodness. You could request code review. There's like online mentors that can help. I keep looking over here because that's where my chat window is. So I'm looking at you guys over there. So awesome. We'll continue. Oh, I don't want to mark it as complete yet. Let's see, just in case. Let's continue and see if there's anything we could do to make this better. Is there an improvement now? So these look a little bulky, right? They're a little. It's a lot of lines for just 2 characters in here. So I might venture for a ternary here just to get all of these in that lovely when then style. Let's see what that looks like. So if we when then, and then we back that up. Now we have 2 spots. We're gonna dub when then. We're gonna dub. Oh, too high. Sorry. And then let's delete all this. Make sure all the tests pass, right? You should do this like line by line, like so that you know you're not breaking stuff, right? So each time you make an iteration, you're going to go, okay, make sure we're still green. Once you make it green, you're not allowed to go back to red. You got to keep it green. Because then that makes this look nice because it's only a single return. And then we do the same treatment up here. What's faster? Changing that to an H. Oh, not if you mess up. It's not faster. Oh boy, greater than equal. Then we get rid of all this. I just broke my own rule and did 2 in a row. I'm so sorry. Oh, syntax error. You gotta win then. Remember, if you want to single line it, you gotta win then. Oh, and you gotta make sure your case is right. I was like, hey, that's weird. Okay, a little better, maybe. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Here's where if dealer score was expensive. So here was the trick. If dealer score was expensive, say this made like an API call to a third party. Say this, was a really expensive query or something. You wouldn't want to get it if you didn't have to, right? And we have many cases in the high, right? In the high case, there's 4 cases. And then in Blackjack, that's a lot. Or this one's low. In the low case, we've got 6. I don't know what that is. 4 to 11. Yeah, 7. So there's a few, right? And so we are possibly grabbing these dealer scores that are an expensive thing many more times than we need to. So what I would actually do, you could memoize it actually. That's another way to do this. You could. I don't usually do that with, if I'm in a class, you don't want to memoize a class variable. That's going to get you in trouble. So I wouldn't do that way. What I would do, just to make it a little bit nicer, is replace this. Just inline it. You know what? And now what do we got? Oh, still looking sweet. Okay. Anything else we can do? Can we mix? That would be interesting. I've never even tried. Can you mix? This should not work, right? This shouldn't work. But if we wanted to, like, does Ruby know? Does Ruby do the right thing? Okay, thank goodness. I was like, no, it can't work, right? Yeah, because I think this has to be empty for this to work. Otherwise, it's gonna. Yeah, I don't even know what it's doing. I think it's comparing the return of this to card range, and it's checking card range, triple equals to this thing. Yeah, no, it's not gonna work. Okay, thank goodness. I didn't think it would. So let's go back to. Is there anything in card range that we could fix? Hello, chat. So there's at least like 5 people in chat that have definitely been here for 10 minutes, so they should be allowed to talk, but they still are not. So I don't know how robots work in Twitch, but I bet you're a robot. Are you a robot? You got to chat if you're not. Chat so I know you're not a robot, please. That would be helpful. Because currently out of like the 8 that are in there, it says I only have 4 people viewing still. So I just want to know you're there. I just want to know, you're following along. You're getting it. It's making sense. If I need to re-explain something, if there's a weird syntax you don't recognize, if you don't even know Ruby and you're like, what the heck are you writing? I'd love to explain it. That's what I want to do. This cannot be simpler, besides putting them in one line. So I don't think there's an improvement here. I actually probably wouldn't use a case for this. Actually, I'd probably use like a hash that just had keys and values. This seems like it needs more computer work than a constant time lookup. So I'd probably change this to, having the scores be in a hash and then return it, just looking it up in the hash. We could actually do that. Does that seem interesting? That seems interesting. I'm curious. Okay. Let me submit this first. That way it counts as like an iteration. So all we did, we flattened this one a little bit. I think that was all we did. Oh yeah. If we didn't want to be super readable, if we were like, if in code review your buddy was like, man, like why are you even storing these? You could just put them in here. We could do that. So if we do, oops, get it all. Oops, too many. So total score is just this. Do we even need that? I don't know. Like, how much are you willing to load in your brain? Right? If we're gonna code golf this, if we're doing like least amount of lines possible, that's fine. It doesn't look the best. Like what the heck is parse card 1, 2? You could probably figure it out. Right? Parse card. Okay, that returns a thing. And then you go plus. Okay, so we're just like adding numbers here, and you can see in the wins that we're just checking for numbers. Like, okay. You could too, probably like having an else that has an actual value in it to me is a little bit of an anti-pattern, because you're just like, I don't know. I like being explicit. Somebody tell me a good reason why you. I mean, this is definitely more, a little bit more resilient, but you might be getting values for 0 that you maybe didn't expect to get 0 for. Or you might be getting blackjack, for a 2, right? Like, if we look at this case, if somehow I got a score of 2, maybe when aces equal 1, then somehow I'm getting blackjack, and 2 aces isn't blackjack, right? So, or is it 11, 20? That's 22. Yeah. 2 aces doesn't automatically win. You split. So I would do something like when 21, blackjack, else, raise. What the? Right. And I think that will still pass, because unless we're giving us, oh, you're not allowed to do that. I can do that. That should work. Yeah. So like that like unknown score, right? Like they'd be like unprocessable score, right? Or impossible score. Like somehow you got a score that doesn't exist. So that's what I would do. Same thing here. Like, right, if you get a card that is not an ace through a 2, like what kind of card are you even getting? They wanted it to be 0 though, so I can't raise there. But that was why I raised originally. And I stand by that. I would raise there. This one does work because they aren't expecting a non-card to be. They're not expecting 2 to be blackjack or something, right? These all have special spots. So I like this. We're going to say this is good for V2. And we're going to submit. I think it will make a new iteration. It might even say we stink now. What if our first one was better? It's like, go back. So just continue. And then we can go in and actually check our iterations. So I have 2 now for this. I can see the latest iteration, and I can go back in time, see iteration 1. So what do we have for 1? Yeah, we had the like spread out. We had the spread out case. Yeah. Ew, look at all that extra space. Ew, look at all this. So yeah, we fixed it. Much better. Okay, so we're going to try the one last thing to try, because, I mean, these are pretty darn terse. Let's continue. So for V3, let's pull this into a constant. So in Ruby, we don't say constant. We just use screaming snake case to define a constant. So we'll call these, what do we call it? Card values, something like that. And then now we just actually bonk, bonk. Watch this. Okay, can we do this with the multi-cursor? Oh, get rid of you. Oh, beautiful. Oh, I know. I need it back. Come back. I need to put commas. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. No trailing. No. Oh, don't save. No trailing commas in Ruby. Okay. So now we have our card values. And now when we parse a card, all we actually have to do instead of casing on this is just look it up, right? We just say card value. What's my I pass in the card and it spits out a value. So the only thing we don't actually catch here is the 0 case. We'll handle that separately, I think. So let's see. Card value equals card values of card. This is actually, yeah, so that's the card value. And then I think we just say if card, oh yeah. Return nil if card return 0 if card value dot nil, otherwise return card value. We can make this even better. So that'll give us bonk. Look at that. So we just went from making the computer. I mean, maybe under the hood, it turns that case into a into a constant hash map or something under the hood. Like it just does. I think it has to evaluate each of these as an expression because it doesn't know that it's a string or what it's doing, right? So it probably needs to figure out, like, evaluate that whole thing as if it was something very complicated. We're making the computer do extra work and now we don't have to. So this is constant time lookup. So it's much faster. So could we make this any better? Presence is a Rails thing. If we, is it? I think it is. This is what I would do if I was in Rails. I don't think that's a Ruby thing. Yeah. Presence returns itself if it exists. Otherwise, it returns nil. And then it would OR into the 0. Mwah, it would have been brilliant. We're not in it, though, so I have to do car. I have to store it. And then I still could do a ternary on it if we don't like this short circuit return. How does that look? So here's the original. Return 0 if card value nil. Otherwise return card value. Or we do card value nil, 0, otherwise card value. Like that. I don't know. With the double question mark, these are always harder to read. A ternary on a question mark method. It's always a little bit questionable. Oh man, I'm so sorry I did that. We did it. That's what I would do. I think that's where I'd leave it. Card values. No notes. No improvements. There's probably, I'm sure there's a really dope code golf solution that you could do to this, but as far as like the balance of readability to precision to terseness, I think they were at the sweet spot of like, this is as small as it's gonna get and still be able to know what the heck's going on. That's where I would stop. I'd be good with that. The moments of silence while I'm drinking water is hard for me. I need like background music. I could have background music on here that you can't hear. It just helps me, but I don't. So it's like totally dead silent in here. It's tough. I hope you can't hear all my mouth noises either. So we did it. That's what we did. We did one. Done. Should we do another one? Somebody in the chat. I know there's at least one person in the chat. Tell me if I should do another one or if I should call it. I've been on for an hour and 15. It doesn't even feel like an hour and 15 minutes. That took longer than I thought. Why does it still say it's in progress? Oh, I didn't complete it. You got to go back. Hold on. You got to mark it as complete. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what we should do actually? We should look at other people's solutions. So after I solve this, I don't want to share my solutions with the community. I don't think we should. I don't think it's that good. It should just do this. It's weird that it asks you. It's like, hey, do you want to show this off? Because that just makes me feel like I'm like gloating a bit. I'm like, oh, everyone should see this, and you should look at all my iterations, or like, I don't know. I feel weird like putting that, even though I'm sharing it online. But it seems I don't know. I don't think mine is the best. Maybe that's just an imposter thing. But let's look at I went to the wrong thing. Where is it? Now it's invisible. I think it's after chess. Yeah. We can look at the community now and see how much better somebody else did, which is sometimes scary, sometimes nice. You know, sometimes you're like, wow, I'm really dumb. I did that in a terrible, terrible way. Do another. Are you a robot? Oh, that's just a happy face. Okay, I need to. It's like do another robot face. Hi, first time chatter. Yes, I'll do one more at least. I tried texting another friend to tell them that I was doing this for the first time. They said they would watch, and they both haven't showed up yet. So I'm gonna have to really puts into question our friendship. So it is 9:30 where they live. They're on East Coast, so maybe I'll give them a break. But let's look at, so what does this sort by? Most submitted. What does that mean? Newest, fewest lines, highest rep user. Sort by, oh, maybe that person submits the most stuff. Fewest lines. Ooh, so if you are looking for the code golf solution, you could look at the fewest lines. Okay, first let's look at, these are probably the most popular because this person is, they love exorcism and they like to share. So let's look at this one. Oh, thanks for giving me the tiniest window possible. Okay, so parse card became parses index of card or 10. Ooh, the index or 10. That was dope. Okay, so what do we do with parses? Oh. Okay, so within the array, add some extra padding so that 2 equals 2, right? 1 isn't a real card, but that way 2 is equal to 2 because we're just grabbing the index. How did we do 10? How'd you solve for 10? Just don't even put them in there. So all the face cards, interesting. Ace gets 11. All the other face cards, or all the face cards get the default. This is going to return -1, I believe, which is probably falsy. Is that true? I need a IRB window. Don't look at what I'm doing. Don't look at my Vim nav playground. I'm not doing. Do I have Ruby somewhere? Let's make this bigger. I probably should have had this like already ready to go, but let's see. So if I do an index 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to grab the index of 5. It's a nil. Okay, so we don't get -1. That's probably a JavaScript thing. You get -1. So Ruby's going to return nil, which then if you do a 10, oh, that's so good. That's great. I like that. Okay. Go. Oh, I already had a VS Code window. Don't need you. It's distracting. And then what do we get? Card range. Okay, he did the math right here. Got the total. Did the same thing we did. Didn't add, didn't raise, it doesn't hit the edges. And then first turn, ooh, okay. So when explicit, so that's interesting, right? Instead of, because it's all, oh, that's probably what they wanted you to do. See that? So using the empty case, you can use each when like a normal if else, right? So then all of these can be expressions. So like the first ace and ace. That's interesting. Card equals card, and the card is an ace, and the card is an ace. I don't think you need that first check. I think this will handle it. When the card doesn't equal one, yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, cool. I like that. This, I mean, as far as readability though, you're like parse card 1, parse card 2, less than. For me, I'm like, can you give these things names? Can you tell me what the name of that thing is? Because I kind of don't know by this. It is nice that it all fits in the case. I do like that. But it's kind of hard to know, right? You don't really know the magic of what these numbers mean. All these numbers are kind of magic at this point because you're like, oh, 16, that's special. 6, that's special. What does that mean? 2, 5, like there's a whole bunch of special magic numbers in here. So it does hide that, or does, it kind of, that part makes it a little bit more confusing, I think. Cool. Any other interesting ones? These are all 5 months old. What's like the newest? I don't know. Is that interesting? Hey, look, disable style. Why would you? We did something like that. He's using symbols here. A symbol hash. A hash with symbolic keys. Okay. Oh, that's good. I didn't think about that. Every time we're using a string, it uses a little bit more memory. It's another instance of a string doing it like this. We always use the same W. So in Ruby, symbols always point to the same spot in memory. So you could say that, :W as many times as you want, and it doesn't create a new :W. It always references the same one. So this is really good. I like that. You don't have to do that. It is nice to see though. You don't, because card values, it will know to look up to here. To the first one it finds. It checks the module first. So the way that Ruby resolves that message is it's going to say, hey, does this thing exist here in my module? And if it doesn't, it'll go up to the next module, or it'll go to what includes me, or it'll go to where, whatever's higher in the object call stack or in the inheritance chain. Everything in Ruby is an object, so it has somewhere to go. So not necessary, but is more explicit, which I like. I like it. Only because I've said it like 4 times already. Oh, I got a notification. What is this? Oh, I got the fundamental trophy. I don't even know. What does that do? What does it mean? Oh, because I finished all the learning mode stuff. Oh yeah. Because they added it, and I think it might have even taken it away from me, because I definitely had done all the learning ones. Maybe these trophies weren't there before. Oh, I lost my place. Dumb dummy. No, that's not what I want. Let's look at the fewest lines. Whoever's got the fewest lines, what'd they do? 2 months ago. We'll look at this one. Okay, sure. Put your whole. Don't even make it. Oh yeah, don't even make a reference to the constant. Just do it in line. Yep. Oh, and they did the same trick with the face cards. So only going up to 10. Only going up to 10. You got to call toSym to turn that string into a symbol, and then or 0. Great. Yeah. Yum. Yay. Oh, interesting. Don't even use a case, because then you have to put an else, I think, and the end, right? So it's 3 lines that you can't get away from. If you do it like this, you can get them all in one. That's awesome. And then, right, we can't make any variables because that's extra lines. So what? Okay. What is this? He's going for code golf, and then leaves a double space between the method. I mean, this is, you could squash that too, but that's funny. I wonder if he noticed that. And then also, yeah, I mean, you do this, that's, just normal line ending. You got to have a new line at the end of the file. But that's funny. I love that. if that was the intention. I mean, clearly that was the intention. He's like doing all this in one line. That's hilarious. Hey, look, he did the same trick we did on didn't leave a space. I leave a space after a return. He's trying to code golf it here. Oh, this is interesting. Why? Wait. Why not then that and then save a line? Oh man, we could have dropped this by like 3 more lines. That's funny. I wish it said the line number. Is this the line number? What is it? Oh yeah. He could have done that. That can't be the editor doing that, right? Oh, look. Wait a minute. He's at 25. And it says only 22 lines of code in the solution. Interesting. I wonder if it doesn't count new lines. If it only counts. Okay. That's fine. I think that makes sense, right? Because accidental spacing like that doesn't count against you, so it's collapsing that. But I think he could have made this even smaller. Because my right 25, 24, 23, 22, yeah. So it gets rid of the empty lines, but he could have done two. He could have been to 20, top 20. Oh man. Okay, that's fun. So yeah, I usually do that after I do. I don't actually look at. I sometimes will be interested in the code golf versions, but I usually look at the most submitted solution just to see how I compare. I want to know how good it solves the version. I want to just see how I did. Am I using a similar style? Was there a cool trick I didn't think about? Kind of like this. This is pretty neat. The parses index. I really like that. I already did that. So let's go back.